Now, recently in the nation's capital, Abuja to be precise, or across the FCT if you like, the minister of the FCT, Yisom Wike, commissioned a number of bus stops. And what we didn't know, it triggered a trend because shortly after, will I say his Enugu state counterpart, Governor Peter Mba, also commissioned a number of bus stops in Enugu, the Enugu state capital. So that made us begin to wonder, where are the roads leading to these bus stops? What are the conditions of this road? Because I mean, if you commission a quote-unquote state-of-the-art bus terminal, you would anticipate that the road networks that lead in and out of that bus terminal would be, more or less state-of-the-art, so to say. But that's not necessarily the case. So, on this edition of Black or White, we are looking at the road mandate. Is it that it is misplaced priority, or basically all these commissioned bus terminals tagged state-of-the-art are a source of revenue, for the various states that have taken the part of commissioning state-of-the-art bus terminals? Well, we'll get into the conversation in just a bit. As always, follow, like, share on Black or White. We'll be back. Right, thanks for staying with us, and we love your reactions, especially on the last edition of the show. But guess what? This is a fresh one, and as always, we expect you to engage us with your comments, interactions, and engagement. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to click on the notification button so that every time a new edition of Black or White drops, you get notified. Well, on this edition, we are looking at the road mandate. Is it necessary, so to say, that we have state-of-the-art bus terminals, some infrastructure, but not necessarily looking at the road networks that lead to some of these bus terminals and quote-unquote world-class terminals and infrastructure? As usual, I've got a loaded house. My brothers are with me, so you could say it's a brotherly edition. And we've got a new addition on this edition. Let me start with the new guy. Yeah, let's not pick on him. But anyway, Ima, it's great to have you join us on this edition of the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
and of course, the men who hold me down, left or right, they're here. Wale, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
And of course, Kunzi, my brother. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Same here. All right, so at the start of the show, I did say, the FCT minister, Yisom Wike, I mean, it was almost everywhere on social media, conventional media, as he showed off his new state-of-the-art terminals across the FCT, and particularly the capital, Abuja. And then shortly after, before we knew it, Peter Mba of Enugu State also followed suit by investing in unveiling state-of-the-art bus terminals across the city of Enugu. But what caught our attention was, okay, fine, beautiful bus terminals, but where are the road networks that would conveniently make these bus terminals fully deliver the kind of results promised by both the FCT minister and governor of Enugu State? And then beyond that, we began to ask whose responsibility it is to invest in infrastructures such as bus terminals, and of course the road networks that lead to those terminals. And so we decided to have this conversation today. Let me start from Kunle. I know before the camera started rolling and we got the show going, you were talking about the fact that the various levels of government have various levels of responsibility when it comes to infrastructure, particularly road infrastructure. The state government has their responsibility, the local governments have their responsibility, and of course the federal government has its responsibility. But yes, I must acknowledge on the show, we supposedly have local government autonomy. Yes, we will say the law is there, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into the conversation as to whether we are truly autonomous as far as the local. But are the local governments empowered enough in this dispensation? I grew up at a time where I knew what local government chairman could do.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I grew up in Lagos. I knew how they transformed several areas within. I grew up in Bariga, so I can allude to that. But in this dispensation, are the local governments truly empowered to carry out infrastructures like road construction, bus terminal construction? Because what we've seen, it seems to be the states. I talked about the FCT minister. I would have been happy if it was the chairman of Buhari local government area or Buhari
who commissioned
Council, who commissioned the bus terminal. But it was the minister that commissioned it in the heart of Abuja, and then in Enugu, Pitamba, in the heart of Enugu. I would have loved to see
another local government chairman doing that. Okay. Basically, I think it's very important to note. You asked a question: are they empowered enough to do the needful in terms of providing infrastructure needed? Now, sadly, no.
Despite the fact that we now
have autonomy and
autonomy,
they do not have the capacity to provide everything all the citizens of their local government require to flourish and enjoy the dividend of democracy. Unfortunately, it's very, very unfortunate. And we are looking at a position where we have a local government autonomy that cannot actually provide for the people of their local government. That is sad. However, having said that, I think beyond that, the little they have presently, we are expecting to see a lot done in that area. For instance, I mean, we all know how much revenue has been going down to the states and local government lately since the beginning of this dispensation. This government has prided itself as one of the biggest giver of allocation since they came.
Yeah,
you can imagine August they shared over 3.8 trillion naira, and local government got about almost 500 billion naira, which if you divide it by 774, at least no local government will get nothing less than 200 million plus the internally generated revenue they do. So with that, you will know that even if it means that, okay, you're telling us that you're paying salaries and you're doing other minor things, those little things we should see. And that is where I think the state governments go across board to help the local government, because they are not able to generate enough funds to help them in providing the basic amenities. Because if you look at the monies we're talking about now, despite the fact that it's getting higher, most time they use it for paying salaries of workers like teachers and all that, what have you, the healthcare sectors. So if you look at that, it looks a little bit small for them to do all of these infrastructures required from them. So the state goes beyond just monitoring as the constitution allows them, to providing revenue for them. I mean, funds for them to you do a lot of things like all this terminal that you see the chairman, the minister of the FCT doing. However, Wike can take the shine of making the giant step or starting those whole process, but he learned from Lagos. Like, Lagos started all the bus terminals.
Bus terminals.
So when he went there to commission, he was exploded. He was governor then. So I think that is what he's trying to replicate. That FCT as the city capital should have stuffs like that, and which is good. So what we are looking forward to seeing is a more active local government. The federal government has given you autonomy, no matter how you say it, whether it is operative or not. I'm expecting to see a local government that is going further to deepen the source of generating revenue in each of those local governments. There are a lot of things local government could do. You just said it in your submission that local government chairman in our days, they do a lot of things.
Very powerful.
Streets were tarred. No streets that's the responsibility of local government. No street in this country should be left unturned.
Exactly.
There should be drainage. All of those things are
Street
basic
lights.
amenities. Street lights, they can do it, even if it means that, okay, yes, I want to do 10 streets in a year. Concentrate on that and deliver it. You don't have to do everything. When it's another person's tenure, they will face another project. I mean, we should be intentional, and that's what I think.
Kule, you raised my curiosity. Let me, before I come to you, Wally, because I know you're giving me that look. Ima, a local government gets over 200 million, right? Even the average Nigerian thinks about it. 200 million enter my hand now. You understand?
Yeah.
And then a local government gets 200 million, another revenue from taxes, internally generated revenue, and yet all we hear is they are paying salary. No infrastructure is invested into. I mean, you're the upcoming guy, Gen Z. How do you guys, I mean, when you hear things like this, how do you react to it?
Well, I feel it's just, I don't want to call it negligence, but I just feel like it's just the corruption that has deepened like us as a society. Now, before we even start asking like why are they not doing any infrastructural project, we should ask like most most local government offices or this they are even uncompleted. So where's the money going? Thank you. Where's the money going? If they can't even use it to do their own house, or should I don't know how to use this word. They say charity begins at home. If you cannot use it for the office that you stay, and how would you now use it to build the roads that you're being allocated money for? So I feel like it's the local government, in as much as they know what they have to do, but they are just being so like, I don't want to say ignorant, but they're just being so incompetent, because incompetency has like deepened us in the country. So if you can, that aspect of their paying salaries to me is just mere excuses, because even you go to like different villages, you see that everything is not even working. Even the allocation, like the internal revenue, the taxes, you see people on the road collecting taxes, where is the money going? So for me, it's just incompetence. So that's just that they should not just
as far as you're concerned.
Yes, thank you.
They've got autonomy.
Exactly.
Money is coming.
Exactly.
At least at all, nine bad pass. According to our people, you have 200 million on the average, and yet.
Every
month. So if you multiply 200 million by 12 months, that's a sackload of money. Well, I mean, where do you stand on all of this?
You see, when we look at this story from the fact that the local government is not doing enough, the state government is not doing enough, the federal government might not be doing enough, or they are stepping on different mandates, the context of democracy lies with the people. And development is what the people require.
Exactly.
Wherever it's coming from, people need development.
True.
So we look at these bus terminals and ask ourselves the question, what is it supposed to serve the people practically? Transportation is always a problem in the world, has always been a problem in the world. Migration, movement is a constant thing for every human being. If you don't move, you will die. Stagnancy stinks, we all heard that. So when it comes to mass transportation, the movement of a large number of people at the same time, not the movement of one person. It's not just one family of 5 or 4 that wants to move. We're talking about the fact that people that live in Gwagwalada wants to move from Gwagwalada to central area. And we're thinking of 10,000 persons. So what do we have to do? Let's build a bus terminal where everybody could converge, know the time of the buses, and they can move. Not like there's no form of transportation before, but we know we've had cases of one chance, they're not numbered, they're not labeled, we don't even know who is who and stuff like that. So more than looking at the mandate, where it's placed, I think we should look at the functionality and how well it could better the lives of the people in that society. I'm
sorry, bro, you're a man, but let me just say that I love him. Because you took something out of my head.
Exactly.
Because I'm thinking, the FCT, for instance, I don't want to put Enugu and the FCT on the same scale. The FCT, for instance, what I was hoping when I heard that the FCT minister was going to get President Bola Tinubu to come and launch a terminal, what I was hoping was maybe we'll have light rail or tube like we see in other developed climes. I mean, Washington, D.C., I know people who don't live in D.C., but come as far as Pittsburgh to come and work in D.C., and they take the train every day. So I was wondering, maybe, that should be what... So, I mean, Enugu, fine. Like I said, I can't put it on the same scale.
When you look at that and Nigeria at the moment, we're looking at a fast solution for the problem at hand. So the rail system is not something you do in 2 weeks or 2 months or 1 year. You might not even have laid all the rails, but at the moment where our country is, what we can afford, and it's coming from the federal government. If the state, at the level of the state government, is thinking of it like, okay, the major cities, I need to connect them, build bus terminals, and probably call some people that are interested in transportation business to come into that sphere to come and work to earn from it. It should be something we welcome, because the so-called politicians in this position might not even be the ones that are going to be using those bus stations.
No, most times they are not the ones that use them.
Yeah, they will not be the ones. So if they are not using it and other people are using it, it's something that we should... It's just a form of appreciation. It's a form of development that we should appreciate more than... I don't want to look at the local government supposed to be the one doing it. If they're not doing it, and state is not doing it, and federal is not doing it, we will not have it. So let's look at the fact that we've been able to achieve something positive for development more than thinking of who is doing it right now. If everybody is hungry right now, whoever gives you food, you don't ask the question, are you supposed to be the one to give me food? Transportation is as big a problem like that also.
Okay. But in terms of functionality...
Yes, I agree with you. That's exactly where I'm going, because it's enough for us to say, okay, yes, we already have it, doesn't matter who does it. But however, the question is, what happens to your responsibilities? How many of it are you actually fulfilling right now? Who is asking questions as to what are you doing with the revenue allocated to you and the one you're generating?
No, if you're asking the question of what are you doing with the revenue, that will be a different question. What we're thinking of right now is the fact that
we're looking at the responsibilities of providing this infrastructure. Whose responsibility is it? And I mean, most of this infrastructure we're talking about, like you said, it states, I mean, he agreed that, okay, yes, somebody has to do it. That's why Wike is doing it. It's not his job.
FCT minister has built bus terminals. Let the local government chairman, Buhari, let them buy the buses.
I mean,
but even the federal government has provided buses.
I agree.
But in the case of Enugu, the governor said there are 200 CNG buses. He released 100.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Those things are fine. But what I'm saying simply is this. I mean, for God's sake, this local government, I have cried over years. They have a responsibilities. A lot of people are ignoring them too long. And that is why they can sit down there. A local government chairman feels that, okay, once I'm there, I can provide whatever the governor asks from me. I'm cool. He doesn't have any responsibility. And that is where our problem lies. We are not getting autonomy so that local government chairman can become bigger.
I didn't really
We're getting autonomy.
I think that's the question.
Now listen, we're getting autonomy for them because we want the people to feel the pulse of democracy. Look at the figures that are coming out these days. It's getting higher. Local government is getting more money every year, and we're not seeing it in the system. People should not be complaining and looking up at federal government. We should be looking at our local government. What are you doing with our funds?
So, Kule, you are, again, re-echoing the word of Mr. President.
Exactly.
That don't keep... Everything should not fall at the doorstep of Mr. President.
Doing? What is your local government doing? Local government, the governor is doing. The governor is supposed to provide a tube, like you said, like a metro line, and say, okay, yes, we are building mega infrastructure for the city so that everybody can converge in the city and move to their localities in different ways easily. We are providing mass housing in areas that are not, those are things that a state can say, okay, yes, I want to take as a project. Let local government begin to dig down agriculture, local infrastructure, street lights, street roads, local healthcare, primary healthcare.
Primary healthcare that is almost non-existent.
General hospital can exist, but then you have primary healthcare. So
I think our electioneering process has to be looked into again. Who are the people that were elected to become our local government chairman? If they are not thoughtful enough for them to be able to derive thoughtful plans for their local government, it becomes a problem. Because as you said, they generate revenue, internally generated revenue. They get on average, although 200 million is it's so small an amount of money right now, but not that it cannot bring anything up. how intuitive are they to be able to build something that will create more jobs for the people in the local government, make life better, and make the local government generate more revenue? That's what I think we should be looking at. When the FCT minister, one of these commissioning he went to, or one of these visits he went to, he had to tell the local government chairman that you're waiting for me to do something for you. He got so angry and said he doesn't want to hear that kind of thing again. You see, I think, as you said, the powers of the local government was taken away from them for a very long time. Right now, they're giving it back to them. Maybe most of them still don't know how to use those
Okay,
powers.
let me ask, Iman,
Yes, sir.
do you truly think the local governments are autonomous? Do you think that power has really got into their hand?
Well, I would say I don't want to like delve out of the point, but let's be real. We know that as a governor, a sitting governor, they're the ones that are like putting these local government chairmen like on the seats because of they know what they are going to get from those people. So they are putting their yes man so that the person will be answerable to them. So for me, I feel like they are not autonomous because at the end you're still doing you're still being like a puppet to your puppet master.
They are still
Yes.
puppets to the puppet
Yes,
master.
yes.
Okay, we'll take a quick breather. Tell us what you think. As you know, we're always looking forward to your engagements. Tell us what you think. The local governments, are they truly autonomous? Or is it just autonomy on paper, as it were? And are the governors more of puppet masters than actually giving the local government chairman or council chairman, as the case may be, the power and authority for them to deliver at the grassroots, and also so that the people can truly get the dividends of democracy? The conversation continues shortly. The conversation is still on as we look at the road mandate, priority or just sheer neglect on the part of the various arms of government, federal, state, and of course the local government. There's been conversations for and against, but we really would love to hear your thoughts. Of course, before we went on that break, Ima was like, as far as he's concerned, look, the power has not got into the local government. Yes, on paper we have autonomy, but they are puppets, only directed what to do by their puppet masters. And most times, the puppet masters are the governors. Kunle, I don't know if you agree with...
I to a certain extent, I want to agree, but then I want to tell you the paper autonomy that you were talking about is about the only authority they need to act. That's the only authority they need to act. That legal standing, that constitutional right to be autonomous.
So as far as you're concerned, we have a devolution of powers.
If you're talking about being a puppet, almost not all the politicians in Nigeria works under somebody. They work with somebody or works for somebody.
So we have a puppet master political system.
Yeah, but then many of them still go beyond that their confines to deliver. So the same thing should go to the local government. If you know you've been elected by the people and you have a responsibility to provide X, Y, Z, even if it is only Y and Z or even Z that you're able to provide, people will see you have been able to make some certain degree of improvement. You can't sit down and say, oh, I don't have money. You have money. Look at Bariga local government. The other day, he was all over the internet. You saw the school he built.
Yes.
It's a local government chairman. It's as beautiful as any school you can get
I don't know how
in River State and all that.
But you seem to be reading, because I was going to ask Wale.
Because these guys they know how to generate revenue. You said, Ima, the other day that they know how to collect all forms of revenue from everywhere.
Yeah.
So they know how to generate revenue apart from the federal allocation. And when you see that, you can see that there is money. People provide enough money to the system to act.
Okay,
there are different indices that create the allocation that goes to different local governments. Using Bariga as an example, because I believe 30% of what goes to every local government is based on population.
Yes.
So the population of Bariga local government cannot be compared to a local government in Ekiti. All local governments in Nigeria have a percentage of 40%.
What happened to Koshofe? Why can't Koshofe not have it? Koshofe has my 12. They have Alakpere market. They have K2 market.
Gentlemen, let me ask this question.
Population.
We are in the FCT. Our kids in primary school were home for close to 4 months because local government chairman couldn't pay primary school teachers' salaries.
Yes.
It took the intervention of the FCT minister. And I won't be surprised that similar cases have happened in other states across the country. So this issue of revenue generation, what structures are there to ensure transparency and effective implementation of the revenues generated for projects at that level?
The governor of Imo State increased the minimum wage.
Yes, 104,000.
104,000 naira. And I'm asking myself the question, there should be where the excesses between 70,000 to 104,000, there's a place it should be coming from.
Exactly.
The states must be able to have seen it before, like, oh, we were spending this money on education before, now we're removing it to salaries. We're spending this money on health before, we're removing salaries. So you ask yourself, where's the money coming from? It might be a little of weight on the states. And these are some of the things that lead to owing salaries. When the federal government comes up and say, minimum wage should be 70,000 naira, not all states can pay, not all local governments can pay. Because the IGR of the local government and the allocation that is being sent cannot pay all the salaries.
I agree.
Now, the IGR is supposed to...
arguments that both the governors down to the local government chairman have refused to be innovative in being able to generate revenue.
Absolutely.
That there is absolutely no state across Nigeria
Yes.
that is not blessed with one thing or the
the
other
other, yeah,
that the
absolutely.
state can leverage on at all levels.
Absolutely.
So what we've noticed is that the governors, everybody seems to just be waiting for federal allocation.
But you
back
cannot
allocation.
put a salary on a revenue you're not generating yet.
Okay, now let me cut in. Okay, so now like we have states that are saying, okay, we want to pay 104,000 naira, and then you are asking yourself if some local government can actually afford it. Let me tell you something. Why can't they? If they don't have the numbers of people in that state to do revenue generation, because most times population helps in your revenue generation.
It's supposed
now,
to be
if you don't
key
have
factor.
a huge population, that means you have less responsibilities. You have less salary to pay.
Exactly.
Are you getting me? You have less schools to fix. You have less roads to fix and all that. So, I mean, you don't have that challenge. The thing is that the revenue from the federal allocation is growing by the day. And that's why those states can say, okay, let me increase my own salary.
Salaries.
So, if it is not happening that day, if they are not seeing the money from the federal, they will not be talking about increasing salaries. But that is to tell you that most of these people, the state and the local government, they have become so, redundant that they don't think it is important for them to put to the people what is their people are looking for. Everybody should not be waiting for presidents. We have local government and state government. That should be our concern.
This may be a conversation for another day, because just yesterday or day before yesterday, I came across a story where a policeman shot a soldier, and it was discovered that the policeman was escorting lorries that were carrying illegally mined resources from a particular state. And I'm asking, how did we get here? But like I said, it's a conversation for another day, because one would have expected that the local government chairman of where those things are being mined would
have raised alarm a long time ago about this issue.
About this issue. But
probably he knows and he's collaborating with those people that are stealing his own resources that he cannot perform without.
Yeah.
So those are things that, we maybe we'll look at it like you said.
Conversation for another day. Well, gentlemen, thank you as always. It's been an incisive conversation. And we'd like to hear from you. Don't forget, follow, like, share, and click on that subscription button and the notification button so that every new edition of Black or White, you get notified. I am Nkamian John saying, hey, keep engaging us always.